Get ready, it's time for Motorsports Madness, powered by the staff at Race Chaser Online. Your motorsports, your way, every day. And now, here's your host, Jacob Seelman.
Well, actually not. This is Tom Baker. Jacob Seelman may be along here shortly. He is hoping to be able to come to us from Miami and give us the latest updates from NASCAR Media Day down there. But in the meantime, it's little old me and a couple of other friends from the Race Chaser studio here in Mooresville, North Carolina. Welcome to Motorsports Madness here on Race Chaser Radio, presented by HMS Motorsport and at mycomputercareer.edu. My name is Tom Baker. I will be joined momentarily by the delightful Allie Boulay right next to me here at the table. And we also have Cisco Scaramuzza via the Race Chaser Skype line and, of course, capably punching all the right buttons over in the tech shed, otherwise known as the production studio, is the venerable Randy Miller. And we have got plenty of motorsports conversation tonight. Oh, my goodness, we definitely have it covered for you. You are going to hear a number of different voices this evening. You're going to hear from NHRA Funny Car Champion J.R. Todd. You are also going to hear from Canadian stock car racer Cameron Haley, who is making his return after a couple of years off. You may remember Cameron from the Camping World Truck Series back a couple of seasons when he was driving for ThorSport, making his return to the track this weekend at the Bullring at Las Vegas, running for Jefferson Pitts Racing in the $10,000 to win SRL Southwest Tour race. That's their season finale. So we'll hear from Cameron as well. And then we are also going to hear from three of the contestants in the NASCAR Championship playoffs this weekend. Down in Miami, we'll hear from Cole Custer from the Xfinity Series and truck racers Johnny Sauter and Noah Gregson. So we are going to have a full show for you here tonight. So whether you're listening live on Spreaker or the Performance Network, Motorsports Network, or on our Facebook Live presentation on the Race Chaser Media Facebook page, or if you're hearing us on one of our platforms as a downloaded podcast, we invite you to sit back and enjoy our Motorsports Madness show here this evening. We are excited to get rocking. We are going to step aside and hear some words. After that, we will be back, and we will get things going here this evening on Motorsports Madness. So stay with us.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more, but the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives and so should you.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff, or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
I'm Kaz Gralla, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness as we continue along with another evening of motorsports conversation. Tom Baker joined by Allie Belay now in the Race Chaser studios. Good to see you, Allie.
It's good to be seen.
Well, we've got a busy show here tonight. We're happy that you could catch the back of the pack and start drafting with us here as we get into the heart of the matter. And Cisco Scaramuza, it is Ford Championship weekend in Miami. And this show, of course, airs live on Thursday night, so we can say that tomorrow night, which would be Friday, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series will crown a champion. And so the question becomes, which of the four drivers is going to walk out with the title? And this race, I'm almost as excited, Cisco, for this truck race as I get for the Oswego Supermodified Classic. And if you know me at all, you know that that is my race. So when I say that, that's pretty heavy praise for what we're about to see tomorrow night. I can't wait to see this battle between three of the hottest young racers in the Truck Series and Johnny Sauter, who has been there, done that before, and is still at the top of his game.
Well, certainly if we weren't dealing with the most historically closest group of four drivers in the Cup Series, this would be the closest championship we would see over the entire weekend. I mean, all four of these drivers have been capably driving all season. They all have their motivations to go on and win. You talked about the three young drivers out there who have a lot of fire. Obviously, we know Johnny Sauter can get the job done. The question is, the rest of these drivers are going to have to prove themselves, and at the end of the race, well, it's going to be whoever can survive the longest and survive the other three. That person's going to go on to win the championship.
Oh yeah, and I mean the reason I'm so excited is because, you know, if you just look at the four contenders here, and listen, it isn't just about these four because it's not a four-truck race. Everybody's going to be out there vying for the win. But if you just focus on the championship contenders, two huge stories. Two. The first one is obviously Justin Haley, the dark horse, who was not supposed to be in the Final Four. He wasn't even supposed to necessarily be in the playoffs. If you ask most people, they would have said that he wouldn't even have made it this far. Here he is. So there's one story. The other story is the story of the story of Brett Moffitt and Hattori racing, because I got to tell you, Brett Moffitt came out of nowhere this year, his first full year in the Truck Series. Those two stories, to me, Allie, are the two stories of this Final Four. Nothing against Noah Gragson. He has a great story of his own, but you kind of expected him to be here. These two drivers, Moffitt and Haley, not at all.
No, because you have, like you said, dark horse, and then you've got Brett Moffitt of the Cinderella story. And Noah Gragson, he knows where he's going next year. He's going to an Xfinity program. So as much as I would love to see maybe him go out and win a championship, I think it's going to be Sauter again.
Well, boy, I don't think any of us would be surprised to see Johnny win. I don't think this is a given. I really, really don't. I think that Randy, I really feel like any of these 4 drivers can walk off with this title. All three of the kids have proven that they can go out and win. And certainly we know Sauter can, but these 3 guys, Gregson's moving up next year. We think that Justin Haley is probably going to move up next year. And Brett Moffitt's fighting just to put himself in a position where he has a job next year, hopefully with Ettore, and hopefully in a situation where they can run for the championship with good sponsorship. So all 4 of these guys have big reasons to go out and go for broke tomorrow night.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't surprise me actually to see Brett Moffitt get a better ride, in a higher series since he's obviously proven himself. But if you look at all 3 of the National Series this weekend, definitely look at the Truck Series as probably, as I think, the best of the 3 races all weekend long as far as who's going to win the championship, because you really just don't know. All 4 drivers deserve it, want to win it, have desire to win it, and, it's going to be the best, I think, of the 3 National Series this weekend.
Okay, so we're going to make an effort here to connect with Jacob down in Miami. Jacob, are you there?
Of course I'm there.
Okay.
And hi, guys.
So we have got a Jacob Seelman now coming to us live from Miami. He is going to be on top of all the coverage all weekend long of what's going on. So keep track of Jacob Seelman 77 on Twitter and, of course, Speed Sport News, because he's going to have all of the stories. You were at Media Day. What is your sense about where we're at here? What did you hear? What were some of the quotable quotes? What went on today in terms of the Truck Series? It's kind of where we started. What seems to be the energy level and the flavor down there in Miami?
Well, the flavor is far from vanilla, if you catch my drift and my ice cream joke there, because I certainly had some ice cream earlier today. And if Cisco's got it to where you can see behind me, the white walls are very indicative, because I'm already going crazy from the amount of all the people that are saying, win, 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 win. We must win. Tom, that's the key here. Winning is everything. I actually wrote a piece about this earlier today that the 4 Cup championship contenders all weighed in on. And from everybody's standpoint, they believe you're going to have to win this race. Certainly Sunday, but I believe all 3 races you're going to have to win in order to win the championship. That's not even a question. These guys are that good. From a competition standpoint, you look at the Cup Series, it's the big 3 plus Joey Logano, 22 wins in 36 races. You look at the Xfinity Series, which is still kind of a little crazy, but Christopher Bell's won 7 times this year. I think the road to winning the championship goes through him and beating him to win that race. In the Truck Series, it's you flip a coin. It's anybody's guess, quite frankly. But at the end of the day, I still believe all 3 series, the driver who wins the championship is going to have to stand in victory lane when it's all said and done. Period. End of discussion.
Well, you're probably right, because that's often the way it is. Now, I don't want to discount some of the a Todd Gilliland, for example, or a Matt Crafton, who I know has had his worst season maybe ever. To discount some of these guys is to do so at our peril.
Our own peril.
Even a Stuart Friesen, who is long overdue to break through and grab a win, we want to be careful not to do that. But very honestly, when you look at the championship 4, it's hard to imagine one of them not going down there and winning this race.
It's very hard to imagine. In fact, it's almost impossible. Kevin Harvick said it best when he said, the only driver we're concerned about winning the race aside from one of us, referring to the 4 championship guys, is Kyle Larson. He said it all depends on if Kyle Larson's car goes in the first 10 laps, and then somebody added later, and doesn't hit the wall. That's really what the Cup race comes down to. Otherwise, I believe it will be one of the 4 championship guys. But as far as the other 2 series, yeah, we discount them, I guess, a bit at our own peril. But the way these 4 drivers in each series have been performing all year, that's really where you end up, I think, because they are the best 4 drivers across the board all season long. They've proven they can win races, and I believe they'll do that.
Well, it is certainly going to be exciting, Jacob. I just know that in a situation like this, I always look for the underdog to be the strong point. And the underdogs here, to me, are Moffitt and Justin Haley. Now, I mean, we made our picks last week, and I picked Haley when we got to the Elite Eight. And I still believe in Justin Haley. I believe that he's going to go out and find a way to pull this off, because to me, I feel like it's destiny. But the underdogs for me are always the sneaky ones, because truly they're the ones with nothing to lose.
They are the ones with nothing to lose. And Brett Moffitt, certainly, because this team wasn't supposed to go past race number 4 this season. They weren't supposed to get past Martinsville. And yet here they are in the championship 4 with a shot to win it all. Justin Haley, we don't know what he's doing next year. We think we know, but we don't know for sure. And he told me earlier today, just before media day wrapped up, he said, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for my family to try and give back to them for everything they've done for me. He said, yeah, it's going to be disappointing if I don't win the championship, but he's as relaxed as I've ever seen him, and I think that makes him very, very, very dangerous, Tom, honestly, because Justin Haley at his best is Justin Haley when nobody's paying attention to him. That's when he sneaks up and bites you.
Yep. Well, and that's why, for me, he's the one I'm watching, because Justin, of all of these guys, is the little engine that could and has. And also, he's very opportunistic, Allie. The last 2 races, the 2 races he's won in late race situations where he's been in position to win, and others have made mistakes and basically almost gifted it to him. But you can't take that away, because he's had to be in that position to win the race. And I feel like this could come down to that same sort of a situation. A wreck late in the race, somebody makes a mistake, gets a little greedy, and next thing you know, the guy in second or the guy in third or the guy in fourth ends up winning. And, Justin is great at being able to put himself in those situations to take advantage of others' mistakes.
That could possibly happen, but what happens if it ends up by him being the one that makes a mistake, or him being the one that gets caught up in a late caution, and then you end up by having Cinderella story Brett Moffitt?
And that is the beauty of what's going on here, Jacob, as we go to break. You never know who's going to make the mistake or who's going to be there to take advantage of it.
That's exactly correct, and we talked about that all day here. We're going to continue to talk about it throughout the weekend, I'm sure. But right now what we're going to do is step aside to a commercial break. We have so much more Motorsports Madness ahead, and trust me, I've got a lot still going on in my head that I know we'll get to. So we'll step aside, and we'll with more Motorsports Madness right after this.
Do you love the sound of high revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves the majority of Monster Energy NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, Camping World Truck, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Featuring world-renowned brands like Schuberth helmets, Schroep belts, Adidas suits and shoes, Lifeline fire systems, and even Racecom radio kits, HMS has the right product for your type of racing and your budget. Their representatives are experts on only one thing, making your track driving as safe as possible. With locations in Mooresville, North Carolina, and Danvers, Massachusetts, the HMS staff is always ready to take the time to help you find the right product for your safety needs. Don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. stop in to HMS Motorsport. Visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com or send them a message on Facebook and tell them the folks from PMN Radio sent you.
What an awesome game. What's up with your car? I don't know. It won't start. How are we getting home? Chill. My parents signed me up for the roadside assistance from Lewis Meineke. It was free with my oil change. They'd come and get the car started or get us home and tow the car to the shop.
Good to know. With my driving, my parents never know what to expect.
When you join the Meineke Car Care Club with a $35 preferred service, you get 4 free months of roadside assistance, including tire change, battery jump, lockout service, towing, and more. Contact Lewis Meineke, located on Route 1, or call 827-2054.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, is a lung disease that robs people of their ability to breathe. As many as 24 million Americans suffer from COPD, also known as chronic bronchitis or emphysema, and half of them don't know they have the disease. If you or someone you love is over 35 and has smoked more than 100 cigarettes in their lifetime, visit driveforcopd.org and take the screener, then take that to your doctor. I'm Jeff Stoltz, and I drive for COPD.
Hi, I'm Chase Cabrey, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network. Now, back to the show.
Welcome
back to Motorsports Madness, and it's fun. I'm sitting in Miami, and I know Tom's complaining that I'm sitting in Miami because, well, the weather here is beautiful, and back there, Tom, not so much.
Well, it's yeah, it's rainy and crappy here, but that's okay. The line for food will be much shorter for me, and the restroom will be a whole lot closer than where it'll be for you. So I guess we'll trade off this weekend, yes.
All right, so looking at what's been going on today, and I know right now I'm kind of focused on the Cup Series title race, but good grief, that's where some of the fun quotables were. My favorite was during the group press conference, Tom, that led things off at 1 o'clock this afternoon, where we got all 4 guys, Harvick, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex, and Joey Logano, up on stage together and basically let them have at it for 20 or 25 minutes. And the jawing started when, I believe it was Busch, made the comment that it's the same 4 organizations for the most part that were in the championship 4 last year. It's just a matter of whether you think Brad or Joey's the better driver. And then, Harvick goes, they both run into you a lot.
Well, that's I don't think we can question that, can we? But
heck no, not a chance.
That's actually great.
Joey proved it at Martinsville, but then again, he had a reason to prove it at Martinsville.
Well,
so
exactly.
That was his shot.
They both run into you a lot. That's a great response. I like that.
Oh, it really is. And it only got better after that, quite frankly. That was really kind of, I feel like, the moment where the floodgates opened and everybody got a little bit looser than they have. Now, I want to turn to Allie for a minute, because some of my interesting thoughts today come in regards to Kyle Busch. And we were talking with Kyle about how, the 8-win season this year, he's over 50 now for his Cup Series career, but he said it's not what he's done up to now that he feels like is going to set him apart. He said he feels like if he wins the second title, at that point Sunday night, that's what would start to set him apart from the rest of the guys he's currently compared with. And I was really intrigued by his response, because everybody's already talking about Kyle in regards to close to 200 wins and this, that, and the other, but he wants that Monster Energy Cup, and he wants it bad.
He definitely does, and I can definitely see him winning it. It just depends. Like you said, you're going to have to win the race to win the championship.
I agree.
And he's at, I think it's 52 now the Candyman's at. Richmond 51. Was his 51. Close enough.
Maybe 52 after Sunday.
Yeah, it'll be 52 after Sunday.
Could well be.
But that's the other thing, too. Talking about drivers being relaxed, Tom, Kyle Busch is oddly relaxed. It's focus, yes, but he wasn't as uptight today as I expected him to be and as he's been in the past. Maybe that comes with wisdom. Maybe that comes with experience of having been in the championship race before. Who knows? But it was certainly, I'll call it refreshing, to say the least, to see some of these guys that normally are very abrasive towards the media corps really open up a little bit and share some very interesting dialogue in regards to where they've been this year and where they feel like Sunday's going for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kyle's gotten to this point where, in general, I mean, sure, he has his moments where he gets angry or he gets, rattled, but for the most part, I think Kyle has kind of gotten to this point where, look, it's another championship fight. He's done this before. He won the championship and spotted everyone else, 11 races? I mean,
yes, he did.
11 races.
Yeah,
I mean, he knows how to do this, and I'm sure he has great confidence in his team because they have performed just amazingly all year long. I mean, they've hardly had a misstep with that team. So, I think especially as we come down the stretch, I think Kyle and Kevin are, obviously the clear favorites here, but, you can't count out Joey, and you can never count out Martin Truex either because obviously they've got a lot of emotion that they're going to be riding on this weekend. There were tears when they pulled out of the shop in Denver, Colorado for the last time. Everybody knows the weight of what this could mean to go out and win a second championship in a row because this is it. They're done as a team after this.
Yes, they are, and that was something Martin Truex spoke very, very candidly about this afternoon, talking about the emotions of the week, how it hit them when the road crew loaded up the car and everybody realized this is the last car we're ever going to take to a racetrack. He said it's been an emotional week, but he said at the same time, Furniture Row Racing's legacy is already secure. Their legacy is that of champions. In 12 years, they reached the pinnacle of the sport that some teams with 15 and 20 years of experience never got to, which is something to be really said about Barney Visser, about Martin Truex, about Cole Perrin. Everybody that has made that team go, especially in the last 5 years, Martin called it the ride of his life. And I would agree with that in a lot of respects because the Martin Truex that we've seen since he joined Furniture Row Racing is not the same Martin Truex I feel like that was at Michael Waltrip Racing and that was at DEI before that. He's become, I feel like, the driver that Dale Earnhardt Jr. always saw in him back in the Xfinity Series, and he knows what his future is. This team's not coming back next year, much like we talked about some of the Xfinity guys, Cisco. Martin Truex really doesn't have anything to lose.
No, he doesn't, because he's going to a new team in 2019, a team that'll probably, if I were to guess, Jacob, that's going to be where he ends his career. Looking at the onlook of how much time I think he has left in the Cup Series, I could see him staying at JGR for as long as he wants until the end. So
I would agree.
So I think for Truex, everything now rests on what does he want his legacy at Furniture Row to be? Because, yes, like you've said, it's already been cemented as champions. But what if he wins another one? What if the storybook ending comes to fruition and Martin Truex walks out of Furniture Row? Furniture Row walks out of the sport as champions. Just what it would mean to all the employees in Denver. But not only that, to the sport as a whole, where we've talked about these giant multi-million-dollar companies who have dominated the sport for so many years. Stewart-Haas Racing, Hendrick Motorsports, Joe Gibbs Racing, and Furniture Row took it to them twice. That says a lot right there, Jacob.
And took it to them from the West Coast, too.
Yes, they did. That's the other big thing is the fact that they've done this not out of the heart of NASCAR country, but out of Denver, Colorado, almost on the West Coast in the middle of the Rockies. Yeah. So there is a ton of stuff to be said for everything they're doing. And Martin Truex told me point blank before we walked out of the breakout session this afternoon, these guys believe this is one of the best cars they've ever sent out of that race shop to go do battle with.
Wow.
And he said it with a ton of determination. I believe for all the trouble the 78 team has had, all the bad luck they've had, anybody who doubts them going into Sunday is absolutely insane, because I believe that this team has been focused on one thing and one thing only, and that's Homestead Miami, and that makes them just as dangerous as any of the other three.
Well, sure, and I think the thing that I look at with Truex is, again, because it's their last ride, there's nothing, they're not going to be together next year. This isn't about anything about the future. This is all about today. This is going to be all about that moment and going out on top. And again, they're as dangerous as the other three because they have literally no reason. They don't care about breakdowns. They don't care about whether they bring a steering wheel back or, everything's about checkers or wreckers for Martin Truex.
Right.
There are no more chances for Furniture Row Racing to win more titles. This is it. So, that's he's going to be driving probably with more aggression and more focus and more emotion than maybe any of the other guys because of this situation. So,
yes.
Jacob, this is the kind of thing that Hollywood scripts are made of, and
that's
certainly
right.
in the Cup Series, MTJ is definitely the Hollywood favorite to pull this off.
I just want to hear Clayton Hughes. If Martin Truex pulls this off on Sunday night, I just want to hear Clayton Hughes instead of stage winner or race winner MTJ. I want to hear him go two-time champ MTJ.
Yeah, well, and
that's all I want.
That's what it's going to be. But again, just like with the other two series, it's not going to be easy. I mean, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick are at the top of their game right now. And I think Joey Logano and that team honestly feel like they are the ones going into this with all the momentum because they've been hot in the playoffs. And, and I don't care. I mean, Martin, again, talking about, not going to wreck anybody except the 22, whatever.
He has a free pass to move him out of the way.
Well, he has free pass to move him out of the way.
Joey disagreed with that, by the way. Joey said, I told him I expect to be raced hard, not that he had a free pass to move me.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, if it comes down to the last lap for the checkered flag, he has a free pass to move him. If he's going to do it or he's going to pull what Kenson pulled and do something stupid like that, then I got no respect for him. But if this should be decided between the four of them coming down to the last lap of the race, and, then it is what it is. I believe Joey Logano has a good chance to pull this off, as good as he's ever had. And I would love to see – I'd almost love to see him do it just because, frankly, I'd love to see social media explode.
If Martin Truex moves Joey Logano on the last lap, social media will go
no, I was talking about Joey winning –
break the internet for about 3 days.
I was talking about the Joey Logano winning the championship.
Oh, Joey winning the championship.
I just want to see. I just want to see all the winery.
If Joey Logano wins the championship,
yeah.
all the Joey haters will be on social media, and they'll light it up from here to Timbuktu.
Absolutely, all the wineries will be in effect.
Yes, they will. All right, with that, we're going to slide away to a commercial break, and we will have more championship conversation upcoming. Next, however, we're going to switch to the drag race set and hear from Funny Car Champ J.R. Todd here on Motorsports Madness. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Everywhere you go, you hear it, and you see it. It's coming at you through your phone, your tablet, and your computer. It's broadcast from your favorite radio station, TV networks, and cable companies. It's in the stadiums, the arenas, the ballparks. It screams for your attention at the mall. It's interactive on Main Street. It's even coming at you from the gas pump at the nearby convenience store. What is it? It's digital content. It's digital content. It's digital content. Somebody has to create it. Somebody has to manage it. So whether your dream is to write it, design it, create it, call it, produce it, voice it, host it, light it, shoot it, switch it, record it, color correct it, edit it, code it, repurpose it, tweet it, blog it, post it, compress it, upload it, replay it, or make sure it gets to where it's got to go when it's got to get there in the format it's got to be in, you need to attend Carolina School of Broadcasting. The skills you will learn, the experience you will get, and the connections you will make at Carolina School of Broadcasting will open the doors to the career you want in digital content creation and digital content management. Call or come by today. Click csbradiotv.edu.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speeds, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Noah Gregson, and you're listening to Motorsports Madness on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Welcome back to another round of Motorsports Madness as we near the end of the NASCAR Championship season. We also get a chance to reflect now and actually go to a set that on this show we don't talk about near enough, the NHRA Drag Racing set. And joining us on the Race Chaser hotline right now is none other than 2018 NHRA Funny Car champion J.R. Todd, who certainly has done a ton of great things over the course of the 6-race countdown to the championship. J.R., first off, we are delighted to have you on the program with us, and I know that the banquet this week, you've been soaking that in. The championship, you're less than a week off of that. Shoot, what's this whirlwind been like?
Well, first off, you're going to have to bear with me. I kind of lost my voice over the last 2 days, but it's been awesome. You know, this is what you dream about as a kid when you start racing junior dragsters, and to be on stage last night accepting that championship, that was pretty special and a moment in my life that I'm never going to forget.
Walk us through this final weekend at Pomona, JR, because I have to believe that the tension had to be palpable, and I know the excitement had to be just as palpable. Walk us through the final weekend and take us straight through the final round that you won.
You know, like all countdown long, we were right in the hunt, you know, of the points championship, and I really wasn't getting that worked up or stressed out or anything like that. You know, it was getting good night's sleep. And then from the time that we won Vegas, going into Pomona, like, that's when it really started hitting me. Like, hey, this could happen. And there were some sleepless nights. And getting to the track in Pomona, a lot of, you know, fans were asking, hey, what do you need to do to wrap up the championship? And that's when it, like, I was kind of getting annoyed. I'm like, we just need to win the race. Like, I'm not worried about what we need to do, which I knew we needed to win second round, but you can't take any of that for granted because there's points and a half there to the last race. Excuse me, and Robert Height, Jimmy Prock, and those guys, they're the, you know, reigning world champs, and they're tough. First round, when those guys, Robert Height and Jimmy Prock, the reigning world champs, when I see them smoking tires, that was instant relief for me, and all the pressure was off. We could just go out and have fun, but at the same time, you gotta stay focused on, you know, winning that first round and winning the race, and that's the great thing about you know, our team at Coletta Motorsports, the Yellow Fellas. They definitely stayed focused after that, and to cap it off with a win, that's definitely doing it in style, and I think it shows everybody that you know, we came there on a mission to win the race, not just to get by to win the championship.
JR, when you're sitting there knowing that Robert and Jimmy go up ahead of you, and that at least in that moment it's not necessarily in your control, is that one of those moments where, As you're sitting back watching this, are you thankful for the lead that you come in with, knowing that it could be over just that quickly, and that you guys could have that relief? Or was there ever a moment during the weekend that you allowed yourself to think that far ahead?
I was definitely excited about going to Pomona with the points lead. We won Vegas, got some help from our teammate Sean Langdon by taking out Robert Height first round. And we had somewhat of a comfortable lead, but like I said, with 1.5 points, it's not that comfortable. I mean, because Robert could have made that up there by winning the race and us, going out early. So you never count on, things falling in the way they do and wrapping it up there first round. But when that happened, that like I said, that was instant relief for me. And that's the way you want to do it. Because early in the countdown, I say early, Dallas, when we lost to Robert in the final, I was pretty bummed about that. That was a big point swing for him. I think we were 50 points back after that. I thought, wow, this is going to be hard to make up. And we just kept chipping away at it, and knocked the lead down, and finally got the lead back there in Las Vegas, and it was pretty cool to see how it all played out.
For you, talk a little bit about, you mentioned the Yellow Fellas earlier, but there's one guy right at the helm of that I know is just extremely special when you talk about driving for him in the sport of NHRA drag racing. How big has Connie Kalitta's support been for your career, not just from when you were over in the Top Fuel side, but moving to this funny car side, taking over Scott's car? This had to be a special season for you guys.
Yeah, it's been a dream season, and I've been a fan of those guys when I was driving a dragster for Connie, when Del Worsham won a championship, and just got to witness, all that magic that happened in 2015. And going back before that, when Connie Kalitta called me to come drive his personal Top Fuel car, that kind of was a second breath of life for me. He gave me an opportunity to kind of restart my career, and I've never raced for a team like this ever in my career, to where I don't have to worry about going and finding sponsorship for the next season to make sure that we can race or I have a job. He gives us all the tools and resources that we need to go out there and win, and it's nice to be able to just show up to the track and worry about driving the car, and that's it. And that's all that you can ask for as a driver. And then when, he said I was the right guy to drive Scott's car last year, that meant the world to me, because that's the most special car within our organization. And, it's Scott Kalitta's car, and with what happened to him, Connie could have packed it up and said that he's done racing after that, but he didn't. He loves drag racing. He eats, sleeps, and breathes it. He has an amazing business at Kalitta Air, and he has that just so he can support his drag race team. And to be able to go out there and represent him and his family and Scott's car, it's quite the honor to do that.
You mentioned the guy who came before you and won a championship in that car, Del Worsham. I'm curious, in the hours and days that have come since you won the championship, have you heard from Del? Did he offer any words of congratulations or anything in the wake of this team going out and winning another championship?
Oh, for sure. Del is a special guy. I mean, I've been a big fan of him way before I even met him, and then spent some time as a crew member on one of his teams. Got my license in his family funny car, and yeah, he's one of those guys that just call you out of the blue and check on you just to see how things are going. And not a lot of guys do that. And back to when we got beat there in the final in Dallas, like I said, I was kind of bummed out after that, and Del texted me and said, "Hey man, I think that you guys are looking good. You're in a good spot. Just keep after it. This is going to be tough. You're not going to get help from other teams with Robert going out early. You're going to have to go through him." When a guy like that reaches out to you, like that, to me, means the world. And it's awesome to be able to call him a friend and somebody I look up to. And he was there the last few races of the countdown, working with us at Coletta Motorsports, and I'm really glad that he was a part of it.
Let me ask you this. You had some big moments in Top Fuel, and you actually told me when we were talking on the phone earlier this year that the switch to funny car wasn't necessarily one you thought was going to happen earlier in your career, but how much you've enjoyed this. I mean, where do you rank the excitement of this season in terms of everything you've done in your career? Does this sit right at the top?
This is definitely at the top. I mean, once I got my start driving Top Fuel, like, that was always the goal, to win races and then, to win a championship. And I always expected those things to happen in a Top Fuel dragster, never in a funny car. But once I went to work, on a funny car as a crew member for Bob Gilbertson, I got to make a test run in his car, and that, kind of planted the seed that if I ever in my career get the right opportunity to drive, a really good funny car, that's something that I want to do. And, enough people over time got to know that. And when that DHL ride became available with Dell going back to run his own deal, like, that's kind of when it hit me, like, hey, man, this is probably my best opportunity in my career to win a championship, because those guys had done it in 2015, and I knew that we would be capable, but I definitely didn't think it would happen this soon or the way that it did.
You mentioned right off the top, and I think we've heard it through this segment, there's a little raspiness in your voice. I know you had the banquet, the speeches, all that fun stuff at the start of the week. How much of a whirlwind has this been? And I imagine you're probably a little wore out at this point.
I'm definitely worn out from Saturday night until now. I haven't gotten a whole lot of sleep. I just said my voice is a little raspy. We did a lot of celebrating there at the track Sunday night. Bell, he brought out his Margarita machine, which if a lot of people aren't familiar with that, it's pretty awesome. It's a nitro motor with a margarita mixer on the back of it, and fired that up in the pit area. And all the people that were there, they were loving it. So from that time till now, it's been a lot of fun and definitely a whirlwind, like you said. And I'm going to hang out here in Southern California for the next couple of days, go to the beach, and just kind of relax and enjoy the moment, because I don't know if it's truly sunk in yet, just because of everything that's been going on. We've been on the go, but definitely going to sit out here and take in the moment and have fun with it.
Well, this is the part where we want to give you a chance to say your thank yous to everybody that made this championship season possible, and also ask in that vein, there's no concerns about next year, is there? We're going to see you back with this team ready to defend the championship?
Yeah, absolutely. I literally just sent out a mass text to everybody on our team, telling them, thank you and that I love them and just enjoy this moment. But, get ready to go back to work soon, because we're going to try and win another one in 2019. But, yeah, I mean, first off, kind of thank Connie Coletta for giving me this opportunity, and everybody that works at Coletta Motorsports. It's a great place to work. It's one big family, and they have your back no matter what. And we have a lot of great supporters with DHL, Lyft Voters, Toyota. They're huge supporters of our team and give us everything that we need to go out there and win. And it's going to be awesome representing them next year with number one on the side of our car.
I know that's going to be one of the most special parts, is the first time you get to affix that number one decal to the side of that DHL funny car. JR, I know obviously you've had a lot to do this week, but we're very grateful for you to take some time out of your schedule and chat with us. Thank you so much, and congratulations again. Enjoy the time off, and we'll look forward to seeing you for 2019.
Hey, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
That is J.R. Todd, the 2018 NHRA Mellow Yellow Drag Racing Series Funny Car World Champion for Connie Kalitta and Kalitta Motorsports. And with that, we will go ahead and step aside to a commercial break. When we return, as I always say, you never quite know what we're going to get into because it's Motorsports Madness and we can go just about anywhere. But we'll continue with the show here right after these words.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
Here at Lewis Meineke, we're more than just your average car care center. Hey, it's Dave, your neighbor from Lewis Meineke. Whether you need an oil change, brakes, tires, or anything under the hood, we've got you covered. Take advantage of our free check engine light service as well. Yes, free. And don't forget about our free shuttle service. Never stress, we'll take care of the rest. On with life. Give us a call at Lewis Meineke, 302-827-2054.
Is your job sucking the life out of you? Wake up. You can do something else. Information technology. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not a math and science person. No problem and no excuses, because it's not rocket science. It's My Computer Career. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You can start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. mycomputercareer.edu. That's mycomputercareer.edu.
Do you love the sound of high revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm NASCAR driver William Byron. You're listening to Motorsports Madness on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Nobody said I wasn't allowed to headbang during the break. Therefore, I headbanged during the break and the re-entry and all that good stuff. So,
You're supposed to just
anyway,
headbang right into a conversation is what you were supposed to do.
I know. I started to headbang right into a conversation. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Ali Boulay, Cisco Scaramouza somewhere out in space, Randy Miller behind the glass, and hey, there's Cisco's. Cisco's waving hi. All right, I want to go around the table in this short segment and give me your pick for the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series title. I'm going last because I can. Tom.
Well, this one's easy for me because I'm a troublemaker. Go Joe in the 22. Joey Logano wins the title.
Allie?
I'm going to have to go with MTJ. I'm going with Truex, 2 for 2.
I like it. Cisco.
For me, I gotta go with Harvick on this one. I just like what that Ford car's done all year. I like Ford's speed here, and yes, I am cold, but I like Harvick.
Is it the heat not working there in Indianapolis?
I'm not going to tell you what temperature it is down here because you'd throw something at me.
I got it right earlier. just for the record.
Yeah. Hey, Randy, are you alive? Do you have a pick?
I am. I'm going to go with Kyle Busch. I think he's been he's due for another championship. So Kyle Busch.
All right, so I'm going with the Hollywood script because I believe Martin Truex Jr. when he says they brought a bullet to Homestead, Miami, and I think the 78 team will find the speed and will do what they set out to do at the start of the year and will win another championship. Just saying.
Okay.
That's my 2 cents, Tom, and if anybody disagrees with me, well, I guess we'll just see what happens Sunday at 3 o'clock then, won't
Well, Mitch Brown disagrees with you in our chat. He says Kevin Harvick, and Murdoch's in our chat, and we know who Murdoch's pulling for. His pick's going to be Joey Logano. So we have 2 Loganos here on tonight's show, and the rest probably anti-Logano, I would guess.
Well, I'm not anti-Logano. I'm just not necessarily for Joey. I just don't necessarily believe he's going to do it, frankly.
Well, I'm just looking. For me, it's kind of you can pick Harvick or Busch, but I like to venture out and take a chance now and again and stir the pot. So go Joey.
Posture.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Team Penske can manage to pull off that title, it'll be their first with Ford, by the way.
Oh, yes.
And their first since Brad Keselowski was the outgoing Dodge champion back in 2012. It's been a while, and they have not yet won one in the elimination era, and I think there's something to be said for that. And with that, we're going to step aside and transition to Xfinity and the Truck Series when we come back. This is Motorsports Madness. Stand by, because there's more coming up.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What? No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm going to do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up. See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time. What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
If you're a gearhead and you just can't get enough of your favorite motorsports on that channel on the cable, or you look at that Guy network and you just go, what does that have to do with me? We have the answer. Performance Motorsports Network. Right here on the internet. The best cruise and tunes, the best in motorsports programming, and the best shows. We have opinionated hosts, and we like it that way. If you want to get involved, if you want to bench race, be listening for information coming up soon right here on this channel, the Performance Motorsports Network. Your source for motorsports.
I'm an HRA Pro Stock Racer, Tanner Gray, and you're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
See,
That's
that's
the
how
last
you head
time
bang.
we can use that re-entry, too. Oh, by the
That's
way, because
right.
Tanner Gray is now, as of this past weekend, no longer a Pro Stock racer. He's the Pro Stock champion, and he's going to the K&N East Series with DGR Crosley next season. With all that said, we'll talk about that here, sneak it in a later segment. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Cisco Scaramuza, Ali Boulay, and Randy Miller all gathered around talking racing on Motorsports Madness, and we are going to start to transition to the Xfinity Series and the Camping World Truck Series, both of whom also had their Championship 4 media days this afternoon at the Miami Edition Hotel. And Tom, I think where I'm intrigued with especially the Xfinity Series is you have a clear favorite and a couple of clear underdogs. And I think this is really the only series we can truly say that about.
Well, yeah, I would agree, I guess. Now that you say it that way and I kind of let it settle in my head for a second, I think Chris Bell is obviously the clear favorite here. But with that said, I don't want to discount any of the other three because, honestly, I think this is a little bit more of a diverse Final Four, and I actually think that Daniel Hemrick is sort of the Hollywood story here. And I think, again, a driver who's going down there just trying to win a doggone race because he hasn't been able to do that. He's going Cup next year, and I think he would love nothing better than to give that 21 team a win before the end of this year, which, oh, by the way, would also give him a championship.
Yes, it would, and I think that's the very, very big statement here. Daniel Hemrick has never won a NASCAR race, at least not in one of the top 3 series. He never won in trucks, and he's yet to win in Xfinity. If he could pull it off on Saturday, it would be a breakthrough victory, and it would be a championship-giving victory as well, which I think is an extremely big deal, all things considered, when you look at RCR and you look at what that team has done and how long it's been, honestly, since they were able to last secure the Drivers and Owners Championships. It's been, I think, since 2003 on the Owners title, and it's been 2008 maybe when Clint Boyer won it, the last time that that they pulled that off. So it's been quite some time for RCR in the Xfinity Series, and something that we're going to be watching. We'll step aside. We've got more championship conversation on Motorsports Madness right after this.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Every 30 minutes, another innocent person is killed due to a drunk driver.
My best friend. My brother. My poor grandchild.
My sister.
My father. My husband. My mom. My mommy.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you.
Stop these tragedies before they happen. Don't drink and drive.
The Performance Motorsports Network is a compilation of shows about motorsports. From technical to controversial to just fun, everything you like about racing and gearhead stuff is right here on one internet channel. The Performance Motorsports Network. Tell your friends about it.
Hi, I'm Reed Sorensen. Racing has been a part of me and my family for as long as I can remember. I had to make tough choices early on to get to the top. It took hard work and dedication. But it's those tough choices that help me prepare for challenges I would face as a Cup driver. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Hi, I'm Matt Tift, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network.
There.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness, and we're talking about the Xfinity and Truck Series Championship 4s as we continue onward. Jacob Seelman, live on location, for lack of a better term. I'm in Miami as we get set for Ford Championship weekend. Tom Baker holding things down back in the studio along with Ali Boulay, Cisco Scaramuza remoting in from the Midwest via the Race Chaser Skype line, and Randy Miller's punching buttons back in the tech shed. So, all that said, Matt Tift brought us back from break. He's one of the guys that did not make the championship 4. However, there's a lot of stories behind the guys who did make the championship 4 in the Xfinity Series, Tom. Not the least of which, I should say, is Tyler Reddick, who, when we were talking about this in an earlier segment, I said I believe there's a true underdog here, and I actually don't believe it's Daniel Hemrick. I don't call Daniel Hemrick the underdog because I feel like Daniel 1,000% powered his way through these playoffs to the Final Four. I believe, shockingly, I know, that Tyler Reddick is the underdog here. So, I just don't believe in that 9 team. They won at Daytona, and they haven't done anything since. And he got, I'm going to call it what it is. He got lucky to advance to the championship 4 based purely on the misfortune of others, because that 9 car was not by its own volition running well enough to make the Final Four over the last 3 races in the second to last round here.
Well, look, I didn't say Daniel was the underdog. I said that I thought Daniel was the Hollywood story and probably the driver with the most emotion coming in because of the fact that he has been so close so many times and hasn't gotten it done, Cisco. I think that Tyler Reddick, for me, as Jacob accurately said, I think he got a little bit lucky. Now, I don't want to sell him short because I don't care what you do. You have to earn your way here. He made enough points to get in, but he certainly hasn't been contending for wins lately, and I would give him less than a 10% chance of winning on Saturday. I don't see the 9 car. I don't see the 9 car walking out of there with a win in the title.
Yeah, I don't either. But I'm surprised that you guys will jump on Tyler Reddick for only winning 1 race this season when at the same time Daniel Hemrick hasn't even won a race this season. Like, I don't know. I feel like Hemrick is still the very long shot out of all 4 of them because that team hasn't done enough to win a race this year.
I completely
contended. They've contended, Cisco, and I believe that's the key. Reddick hasn't even contended since Dover earlier this year.
Reddick's been the 3rd best of the 4 of the Ford Junior Motorsports cars all of the season. I don't believe that you can say Daniel Hemrick is more of a long shot. Daniel has been laps away from winning a number of races this year that Reddick hasn't even shown up in the top 5 for.
Yes, but Tom, this is Chase Elliott syndrome all over again. This is exactly what I see out of Daniel Hemrick. And I'm sorry, you have to win at Homestead to win this championship with the other 3 drivers. Hemrick is in full Chase Elliott land right now. I do not think he can win a race in his current mentality or in his current equipment. I'm sorry. Tyler Reddick has won a race this season. They've been through that. Yes, it was Daytona. Yes, it's got lucky. But he's been through that scenario where they've won a race. He went through it in the Truck Series before. Daniel Hemrick never won a race in the Truck Series. I'm sorry, I don't see it.
Well, I mean, that's what's great. I love that we can disagree on this show, and I have no that logic totally fails for me because winning at Daytona is not beating the competition, it's being in the right place at the right time. Tyler Reddick didn't dominate Daytona. He just ended up winning, and he hadn't done squat since then. And, in fact, he's made a ton of mistakes that have cost him spots. Daniel Hemrick has been so close to winning so many races. I don't see how you make him more of a long shot than Reddick. But we'll see on Saturday. I really want to see Daniel go out and get this because – For me, I think he's the one. I picked Christopher Bell, and I stand behind Christopher Bell, but I really, Daniel Hemrick to me would be the best story out of all of them if he can go win the championship. Oh, by the way, Reddick leaving Junior Motorsports at the end of the year, going over to RCR, probably to the car that Daniel Hemrick is vacating to move up to Cup.
Yeah, and with that, now let's shift gears to the Truck Series for a little bit and hear from the veteran, because you've got Daniel Hemrick, who's a young guy trying to make his name, and then you've got this guy who, has 6 wins this year in the Truck Series, and it comes in as the unbridled favorite to win the championship. I got a chance to catch up with Johnny Sauter earlier this afternoon during the breakout sessions, and, like Johnny Sauter normally does, as he's proven on this show, he had a lot to say. So, Randy, punch a button, and by all means, let's hear from the 2016 champ, shall we?
So I'm going to claim that because I was standing here first, I get first prerogative, Johnny Sauter. You're the only one of the championship 4 to have won one of these big trophies before. Does that make you the favorite to win another one?
Am I supposed to use this?
Yes.
Unfortunately, yes. I don't know if it makes you a favorite, honestly. People say all the time, does experience matter? I think it does a little bit, but anymore with technology and all the things that these kids have at their disposals as far as simulators and all that, I don't know. I don't consider myself a favorite at all. I think you got to go in there and run as best you can and see where it shakes out at the end of the night.
This has been the best season of your career. Would not winning the championship Friday night constitute a disappointment?
Yeah, for sure. No, I think you come this far and you have the season that we've had. And to not be able to cap it off with the championship is definitely a disappointment. And I think I speak for GMS and everybody when I say that the goal is to win the championship. Whether or not we get it is a different story, but that's the goal.
You say you're not the favorite. Who do you think's your biggest threat for Friday?
I think all of them. Anything can happen. I've been racing long enough to know that you never count anybody out. And having said that, anybody can get it right. It's one race. So, if somebody gets the setup just right, that's the way it goes, So, having said that, I look at everybody as a threat because anything can happen. I've been racing too long.
There's a very elite group that's won multiple championships in any NASCAR series, but this one in particular, you've got one. Where do you feel like that would put you if you could get a second one?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really worry about where it puts me. I just want to win the championship. So, at the end of the day, that's what this is all about, is trying to win races and win a championship at the end of the year. So where that ranks us or puts us, I have no clue. And honestly, it doesn't really matter to me. I just know that if we can pull it off, we have 2 championships, and that's pretty awesome.
Would it be more special than the first? Or?
Well, I don't know if it'd be more special because the first one's always pretty awesome. But I do think that there's an opportunity there to enjoy it a little bit more. Just because the first one you're caught up in everything that's going on around you, and I feel like if you could get a second one, you'd say, I'm going to take a little bit more time with this and enjoy it myself. So not that I didn't enjoy the first one, but I feel like there's a little more time.
And so I want to add to this really quickly, Tom, because Johnny Sauter's extremely motivated. He's extremely excited, and I feel like a second championship would put him with the elites.
I guess in the fact that he's won a ton of races, and the Truck Series haven't been around as long as obviously the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series, so the amount of drivers who have won multiple titles is significantly less. But I would put Johnny as one of the elite competitors to have ever raced in the Truck Series, even
absolutely.
Right now. So I don't know that winning the second championship necessarily seals that or makes him that. I would already agree that he would be that now. But anyone who thinks he's just going to run away with this, I think, and I could be wrong, but I believe is going to be sadly mistaken, because I think this race is going to be a slugfest.
I believe it will absolutely be a slugfest, and I believe the truck race especially, you're not going to know what's going to happen there until the very last lap of the race. And I think that's a huge thing as far as the storylines and the intensity level, because I don't believe you're going to be able to let up at all in this race for the Truck Series title. I think it's going to be too close. It's going to be maybe a margin of error is as thin as a razor or a sheet of paper. I just don't know that you can really handicap it, quite frankly. That's the feeling that everybody had today. So with that, we're going to go ahead and step aside, and when we return, we will have even more Motorsports Madness and hear from more of the title contenders. We'll be right back.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speeds, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right, it's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves the majority of Monster Energy NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, Camping World Truck, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Featuring world-renowned brands like Schuberth helmets, Schroep belts, Adidas suits and shoes, Lifeline fire systems, and even Racecom radio kits, HMS has the right product for your type of racing and your budget. Their representatives are experts on only one thing: making your track driving as safe as possible. With locations in Mooresville, North Carolina, and Danvers, Massachusetts, the HMS staff is always ready to take the time to help you find the right product for your safety needs. Don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Stop in to HMS Motorsport. Visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com or send them a message on Facebook and tell them the folks from PMN Radio sent you.
Hi, this is John Ondrasik of Five for Fighting, here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody's business. So please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ben Rhodes, and you're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
Yeah,
I cannot accurately in this chair do the little head bob thing the way I normally do it when I'm in the studio, so I just had to kind of improvise and lean forward. And
the last time you tried
weird.
headbanging, you headbanged right into your mic switch. So
I know, I really
you
did
just
not
need to sit
do
real
that,
still over there.
Anyway, this is why we call it Motorsports Madness, because things get crazy sometimes. Jacob Seelman live on location from Miami, where tomorrow we begin Ford Championship weekend, if you're listening to this show live. Tom Baker and Ali Boulay holding things down in the Race City USA Race Chaser Studios back home in Mooresville, North Carolina. Cisco Scaramuzza via the Race Chaser Skype line, and Randy Miller back in the tech shed punching buttons and keeping us from completely losing our minds. Tom, right before the last break, we heard from Johnny Sauter, and, well, you know, the cagey veteran, he likes to talk, and he doesn't think he's the favorite. Everybody else thinks he's the favorite. We'll see.
Well, I mean, look, I would say he'd have to be the favorite because he comes in with, 5-6 wins on the season?
Six wins,
Six wins, and I mean, you know, he's the veteran. He's the one that's been through this. He's won it, obviously, out of this position. I think he has to be the favorite, but with that said, you know, I know we're about to hear from Noah Gragson. I think Noah could be a little bit of the sleeper here because I think people have sort of written him off a little bit. Because of some things that have happened throughout the season. But over the last few weeks, if you've watched the performance and you've watched his attitude and how his mental approach has changed, I think Noah Gragson may be the sleeper here, and anybody that discounts him does it at their peril.
I would somewhat agree with that, although I also personally think that Noah this season has been a bit of checkers or wreckers, and I hope that he's learned from that to know not necessarily to do that to that extreme until it really counts on Friday night, because that's going to be the key. You cannot tear your truck up and take yourself out of it early on, because if you do that, you won't have a shot to win a title at the end. So Randy's going to take us back to the tape, and now we're going to hear from a very calm and collected Noah Gragson. He's focused, and you're going to be able to tell it when you listen to this.
Noah Gragson, it is almost game day. It's time. Your mug is right behind us, right there, staring. Very, very focused. Are you ready for this? This is it.
It is. I don't know. It's a good opportunity. It's one that I've been dreaming about for a long time, and now to be able to race for a championship, it's going to be very special. So just really excited for what's in store for this weekend, you know.
How do you characterize this year? Obviously, you've had ups, you've had downs, but through it all, here you are. It's been a very consistent year for you. Maybe just not as flashy as I think you were hoping it was going to be.
Yeah, definitely not as flashy, that's for sure. But ever since Daytona, we've had one goal and one focus in mind, and that was to make it here to Homestead. And obviously, we'd like to have more wins at this point in the year, but you can't go back in the past. You just got to focus on the future, and that's what we've been doing is just trying to get better every single weekend and really learn for this weekend here in Homestead. And it's not like we're just racing for a championship this weekend. We've been having that mindset all year. So we started in Daytona and been doing it all year, so it's no different than any other weekend.
How do you feel like Homestead stacks up for you? Obviously, you've seen it last year, but as a track-wise?
It's definitely different. I feel like I've learned a lot throughout sim and video preparation, watching video and everything, and definitely tires are going to be wearing out pretty quickly, so it's going to be interesting, that's for sure.
Even in the midst of missing out on Phoenix, coming into here, listening to you right now, you've been very focused, but you've also been very calm throughout the last couple weeks leading into this. You know, where did that come from? Because I know obviously we're used to you having the energy and being, you know, typical Noah, but it seems like you've been able to kind of put that into a different place this week.
Yeah, just trying to focus on what's in store for the end of this season and next season, and then just trying to not give anybody excuses to say, oh, he's not focused or anything. I put my full dedication and focus and preparation into I feel like I've been focused this whole year. Might be a little misunderstood, but for this weekend especially, I've been extremely focused on my preparation, and probably the most preparation I've ever done going into a weekend. So it'll be interesting to see the results, that's for sure.
You watched Christopher go out of KBM with a championship last year. What would it mean this year to be that guy?
It'd be cool. I was talking to Wes Ward, the shop foreman at KBM, and he said, man, I know obviously you would have liked to have a few more wins at this point in the season, and we thought that's what it was going to be going into this year, but wouldn't it be cool to go down to Homestead and just kick their ass down there and go out with the championship, and that'd be pretty sweet in my opinion. So I don't know, just got to do the best job we can do, and hopefully the rest takes care of itself.
Are you excited, nervous, or a combination of both?
I don't know exactly what I'm feeling. I don't know if I'm calm, if I'm excited, if I'm nervous. I think it's answer D. It's all of the above, you know. Like I don't know. It is what it is, but just I don't know really what to expect. I've never done this before, other than racing for a championship in K&N Series. So,
and that was nothing.
Yeah, this is a lot different compared to that. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I mean that was an interesting last couple of sentences there. You know, this really is a first-time experience for Noah. And
it is.
Jacob, I feel like he's ready for it, and yet at the same time, you know, with all of these younger guys who this is the biggest stage possible. Not only because it's the end of the season and it's championship weekend, but it's literally winner take all. It's not as if,
it is.
There's a scenario where Noah could finish 5th or 6th and still, there is if the rest of them had a bad day, but I mean, you pretty much have to win. And so it just makes the preparation of the butterflies so, it's so intense. And
it is.
I love, a lot of people hate this playoff format. I love it for just this reason. We are really talking about some drama here as we go down to the end, and I love it that way.
Yes, I do too. Now, you mentioned preparation and getting everything right. The guy who got it right last year in the NASCAR Xfinity Series is the guy who won the race, and if he does that again this year, we'll win a championship for it. Cole Custer, who dominated and led 180 of 200 laps in the Xfinity race at Homestead, Miami 1 year ago, he spoke to how he doesn't feel that race necessarily gives him an edge, but the intermediate track success that SHR has had this season, he said, certainly does. Now let's hear from Cole Custer on his hopes of winning the Xfinity title.
I guess there's always a little bit of nerves, but I think especially early in the week when you don't know exactly what to expect, but after you kind of do your homework and do a lot of preparation, I think it calms a lot of the nerves, and you have a good understanding and plan going into the weekend.
When you consider the success that you guys have had on 1.5 miles on intermediate tracks this year, is that one of those things where you have at least a little bit of a level of comfort going into this weekend, knowing that program for SHR has been so strong?
Yeah, definitely more than a short track, I would say. That it's just 1.5 miles has just always been our strong suit, it seems like. So I think do we have a ton of confidence that we're just going to be faster than anybody? No. I think everybody's going to be fast, but I think we'll be right there with everybody, and I think it's a track that we can compete and win.
What does it mean to be racing for a championship this year? Obviously, last year being year one, maybe you don't necessarily expect to be at that level, but this year, what's it mean to be at that level?
It's definitely it's nice because you can see the progression over, how much better the team's gotten, how much better I've gotten. So it's just it's been a work in progress ever since the start. So I think now you can kind of see it all coming together. I was definitely surprised just because we hadn't done that yet. We hadn't won. That was our first win. So to do it in that kind of style was pretty huge. And, you never expect to do something like that. And I think that's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
When you look at where this team's at compared to where you started, the beginning of last year, are you proud of the progression that you guys have showed as a group from where you started to where you sit going into the Final Four?
Oh, for sure, just because we had no notebook to work off of last year, really. We were making a manufacturer change. It was a rookie crew chief, rookie driver. So it's just a lot of unknowns and we just didn't know what to expect. And we did our best, and I think we did a great job. It's hard to do that in a first year.
What kind of advice is Tony giving you this week?
I haven't talked to Tony yet. I'm going to try and talk to him before the race, but he's obviously probably one of the best to talk to just because of how, that one race in 2011, I think it was, that he won. That's as good as it gets for, a high-pressure situation and having to do your job. So definitely he'll be one that I'll want to try and ask a question to.
What do you feel like a championship would do for your career this weekend?
It would mean a lot. It would be huge. That's what our team wants, and we've worked so hard for it throughout the last 2 years trying to build our program. So it would be very fulfilling for our whole team for how hard everybody's worked to get us to where we're at right now to win a championship.
And I think a championship, Tom, would say a lot about Stewart-Haas Racing and what they've done with that Xfinity program.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think Cole, the fact that he won this race last year the way he did, huge confidence boost going in because you can pull this off. He skunked the field last year, and I expect him to be in contention to win again this year. I think Cole is legit, and he can pull off this title.
I believe he can, too. It's just going to be a matter of positioning himself in the right place at the right time and having the right amount of speed to be able to go out and do it. When we come back from this break we're about to take, we're going to hear from a driver who has not been in NASCAR competition for a little while, but we're going to hear from him because he's got some news. Former NASCAR Camping World Truck Series racer from Canada, Cameron Haley, joins us in just a minute to talk about what he's going to be doing, driving a late model this weekend. More Motorsports Madness in just a moment.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
How to deal with someone who says that's so gay. Outsmart them.
This party is like so gay. Totally.
Excuse me, but did you ladies know the word gay used to mean happy or excited? Then it became a word used to describe gay people. Then somehow it came to mean dumb or stupid, which is how you just used it, which is not very nice.
Ew, that guy is on the football team and super smart, and he totally hates us now. Totally.
When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off. Learn more at thinkbeforeyouspeak.com.
Hi, I'm Cole Custer, and you're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness, where we continue our jaunt through the racing world. Jacob Seelman joined by Tom Baker in the Race Chaser Radio Race to the USA studios here in Mooresville, North Carolina. And joining us on the Race Chaser hotline right now is a driver that admittedly has not graced our airwaves in quite some time. And in fact, I think the fun question is going to be, what has he been up to? So we'll give a big welcome back to former NASCAR Camping World Truck Series regular Cameron Haley. And Cameron, as I understand it, you, even though you left the Truck Series a couple years ago, have been quite busy.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me back on, guys. It's definitely a pleasure. And the last 2 years, although the longest 2 years of my life not being in a race car, have definitely been exciting. Anywhere from my daughter just turned 2 in the summer. I got married last winter. We have another daughter, or son or daughter, I guess, another baby coming along the way next year. Our business moved into a new, larger building. It's been expanding. So a lot of things not pertaining to racing, but definitely keeping me occupied for sure.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the racing that's going to be keeping you occupied upcoming here. You're actually going to get the opportunity to drive for Jefferson Pitts Racing in an upcoming Southwest Tour event here at the Bull Ring at Las Vegas. Talk a little bit about how the opportunity came together.
Yeah, it came as a little bit of a surprise. Obviously, like I said, these last 2 years have been tough, and I definitely have not stopped looking for a ride, not looking for sponsorship, all of the above. And it just happened to come really only, I guess, last week. Jeff gave me a call, actually sent me a text and say, hey, man, we have a ride, a super late model that you can run out at the Bull Ring in the SRL final race of the year. He said, what do you think? So I sat down with my father and we talked about it a little bit, and 3 days later it kind of came to be. So it's been a whirlwind of a week, but just finding all my old race stuff, digging it out of boxes. kind of puts me into tears because it's something that I've waited for 2 years now, and it's pretty cool that it's finally happening.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but at least some of the guys on the current JPR team you had an association with, didn't you, back when you were running in the K&N West Series?
Absolutely. Me and Jeff Jefferson have a long history. He was my crew chief back with Gene Price Motorsports back when I ran the K&N West Series. We won a couple races together. He actually ran my super late model program back in the day as well, where we won multiple. We run stuff like the Summer Showdown, Yakima Fall Classic, big races together. So it's pretty cool to be able to work with Jeff again. Jerry Pitts, him and I have worked obviously as on separate teams, but same company, Gene Price Motorsports. So I'm really excited to get back to guys I've run well and won with in the past, and getting a race car. So it's a double whammy.
Cameron, this sounds like, from the way you're talking, that this is kind of, at least what you hope will be one of, in other words, this will be the first return to racing. You're hoping for more next year. Do you have any kind of idea or sense for what you'd like to be doing in 2019?
Well, I could tell you I'd love to be running full-time in some type of vehicle.
Okay.
That's about as far as I got. I mean, honestly, the past week, just being a surprise that I get to race this one race at the end of the year is a huge deal for me. I'm really focusing on getting my head straight. I've been doing lots of studying. I mean, I came from the big stage at a Camp World Truck Series race to a super late model race that's kind of half the capacity, half the crowd, but I'm taking it more, I mean, the same, if not more serious than I did the Camp World Truck Series, because it's just that opportunity to get into it again. And I've said it so many times, you don't realize what I had being a full-time Truck Series driver until I lost it. And now, as I get this opportunity, it's humbling to know what this opportunity means and how much I will put into it to hopefully be able to do something full-time next year.
Now, you're obviously a Canadian from Calgary, Alberta. Are you back living in Canada now, or?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
Me, my wife, and my daughter moved back to Calgary a couple years ago. I'm working full-time for my father's company, Cabinets by Haley. So we've been doing really good here, but it's definitely tougher to get down into the U.S., but every once in a while I do make it out to a race here and there.
Now, you were racing for ThorSport in the Truck Series, and, you did fairly well. I mean, and I'm sure it's got to be hard for you to watch those races, knowing that you would like to still be out there. But, would it more likely be something on a late model scale for you next year, do you think? Or would you envision yourself maybe being able to get back to, say, the Truck Series?
I mean, I'd love to keep kind of all possibilities open. I mean, I'll be quite honest with you and tell you that the first year after being gone from the Truck Series, I had a hard time even looking at my Twitter account or I mean, watching a race. Anything that had to do with that, it was just painful to watch. Since then, I've started to be able to get back into it a little bit. But, I mean, I've always said it through my whole life. The Truck Series at that point, I wanted to do that for the rest of my life. I wanted to be a professional race car driver. I wanted to drive. Since then, obviously, having a family, other priorities come into place, and it's a totally different life raising a family, being a professional race car driver. But I can always say driving a super late model back when I was 15, 16 was some of the most fun I've ever had in a race car. So, I mean, to be able to drive even full-time super late model racing, do some bigger races, finally get the Snowball Derby, different races like that, I'd love to be able to do that. But at the same time, I've never lost hope to be a professional driver someday as well. So anything's possible, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Are you worried about any rust getting back in the car at the bullring?
I am not. That is one thing. There was a little doubt in my mind the other day when I started pulling out my old race shoes and be like, man, do I remember how to turn left? But I started really thinking about it and thinking about back to racing. I've got to do a little bit of road course stuff in a couple of race brake Camaros over the over the last couple of years, and I think I still got it. And I think being with me, Jeff, Jerry Pitts, between the three of us, I think we can get a winning combination going for the last race of the SRL season.
Yeah, you were telling me about some of the road course racing you've been doing when we chatted earlier. Talk a little bit about where and what that is, because I think a lot of people would be fascinated to know that where you were, the facility even exists, and how maybe you would go about joining that or being a part of that, because that's kind of sounds neat.
Yeah, no, we actually came across it. We do a bunch of shows throughout the year with Cabinets by Haley, and we came across a motorsports resort called Spring Mountain Motorsports Resort. And they're located about 45 minutes outside Las Vegas in a town called Pahrump. And we kind of stumbled upon them. We went out to the track for the first time, and they have miles and miles of road course out there. But it's kind of set up as kind of a country club resort type idea. So Dad and I joined as members. We got a couple of kind of race-bred Camaros to bring out there. And it's not necessarily racing, but I go out and push the cart hard on a road course. And I guess the Spring Mountain, a lot of the Cup drivers go there to knock some rust off before the road course races.
Interesting.
So it's by no means a slouch of a track, but it's been a ton of fun and keeps my foot on the gas for a little bit while I'm not racing.
I know you were talking a little bit about it earlier. What do you miss most about the Truck Series, having been away from it from a couple years?
Honestly, it's the thrill of driving a vehicle. Somebody had always once told me that, is it the speed that gets you? And I always got to say, I don't think it's the speed. It's the competition. It's having to think through a process of passing somebody, having to think through what the race car is doing. I guess the challenge of driving a race car is what I miss. And it's really hard to put it into words what that is. But the hype around racing, the thrill of winning is probably one of the biggest things. And that's why I'm so excited to get back with a team that I've been around, with the cars I love, a track that I grew up around. It's something that I think can be a winning combination, get me that thrill back that I've been missing.
So I know obviously the family business has always been a big part of your racing, but I know you've taken on more involvement with that since you've been away. So talk a little bit about that side of things and what you've been up to.
Yeah, well, I immediately came back after I finished with ThorSport a couple years ago. We came back. My wife and I moved back in February, and I began starting. I've always had involvement in Cabinets by Haley. But I took on a bigger role. I've kind of been running kind of the day in and day out of the operations here, helping to grow the business. Like I said, we do a bunch of shows, Barrett Jackson Auctions, SEMA we've done. So trying to grow the business into something more. But every once in a while, you always get a fan that shows up at a show saying, hey, I've missed you in the racing. And it's tough to hear that because Cabinets by Haley's always been so involved in the racing industry. But we've also got our cabinets in some big race shops. We've had some different cool connections in racing. So it's definitely been a good tie while I've been gone. But hopefully they'll be able to stay with me and do some stuff for next year.
Well, that kind of answers my question, because I was going to ask you about Cabinets by Haley, because I've known you for a while, but we've never really talked a lot about the business. It sounds like you're kind of a more or less a worldwide, or at least Canada and America, like far more than just a Canadian. Talk a little bit about your what you do in the demographic real quick for us.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, Cabinets by Haley's, we're a high-end garage cabinet manufacturer. So we manufacture high-end garage toolboxes, different garage systems that mostly go in residential applications, but we've been getting into more on commercial applications. So it really ties in well with the racing. It ties in well with the automotive world, which is why we do the auctions, which is why we do SEMA. So we've got a lot of recognition over the past couple of years, which I think we didn't have as much when I was racing. Everyone thought they were wood cabinets, which was hard to get across that. I mean, we're a full 16-gauge steel metal cabinet. We're built for strength and durability. And believe it or not, a little-known fact is Cabinets by Haley was actually created because of my racing. When I was little, 4 or 5 years old, going to the racetrack, We had all the sheet metal fabrication, all the powder coating, everything to be able to finish building a finished product cabinet. So Dad built the toolbox to go to the racetrack. Everyone happened to love it. 2 weeks later, we were in a garage, I guess tied in with a garage company, and Cabinets by Haley was born. So it's always been centered around the racing, which is kind of something that is hard to get out to everybody. But I think over the last 2 years, we've been getting a little bit more recognition in that way.
It's been a lot of fun. Cameron, we got about 30 seconds left in this segment. Real fast, any other thank yous you need to give for making this opportunity possible?
The biggest one is just my dad. He's it's obviously been a tough go throughout my career, but he's always believed in me and my ability, and to have me be able to race a super late model again is a dream come true. So I really got to thank him.
Well, it's been a lot of fun, not just hearing what you've been up to, but certainly being able to help spread the news that you're going to be back in a car. Best of luck at the Bull Ring, and we hope to have you back on here soon with even more fun news.
Absolutely. Hopefully I can come back on with some good news from the Bull Ring with a win. That'd be nice, eh?
That's the goal.
We'll bring you back after you win.
Exactly right. All right, that's Cameron Haley. We appreciate him for his time, and we are going to step aside right now. When we return, there's even more Motorsports Madness still ahead, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after these words.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more, but the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Motorsports Sales Professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
You are a waste. A loser. Everyone hates you. Why don't you just stay in your car and keep driving? I'm serious. Drive until you run out of gas, then get out of your car and walk until you find someone who doesn't think you're dumber than bricks. Could take a while, but at least all that walking might burn a couple of calories.
You may not witness bullying like this every day. Your kids do. They want to help, but they don't know how. Visit stopbullying.gov to learn safe, simple ways your child can help stop bullying. Be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Hi, I'm Tyler Reddick, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network.
We're going to watch and see how much I can make their brains scramble in the final minute and 47 seconds. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Ali Boulay, Cisco Scaramuza, and we're going to give Xfinity and Truck Championship picks. Tom, go.
Okay, Trucks, Justin Haley, Xfinity, Christopher Bell, and Cup, Joey Logano.
Allie.
Trucks.
Quickly.
Johnny Sauter, Xfinity. I'm going to go Daniel Hemrick. Cup. I'm going to go Truex. Sorry.
Cisco.
Trucks, Brett Moffitt. Xfinity, Christopher Bell. Cup Series, Kevin Harvick.
All right, trucks, I believe Johnny Sauter. Xfinity, Christopher Bell. Cup, well, I'd like the storybook ending, so I'm going to stick with it. Martin Truex Jr. I have a feeling. I believe in that 78 team. Just saying.
It's gonna be
I really do. I like the script, and I think we can write it in South Florida this weekend. And just like that, well, we have to say goodbye. This show has legitimately flown by. I think Tom and I were discussing during the last break. We're like, where did it go? It went away about as fast as I can snap my fingers and say, ta-ta, y'all. So thanks to my computer career and HMS Motorsport for what they do to make this show possible, as well as Bob Steele, Sue Mason, and all the folks at the Performance Motorsports Network. So for Tom Baker, Cisco Scaramuza, Ali Boulay, Randy Miller behind the glass, I'm Jacob Seelman. Keep it off the wall, folks, and if you're headed to a racetrack somewhere, we might just see you there. Have a safe racing weekend till we meet again.
You've been listening to Motorsports Madness with the Race Chaser Online crew. Stay tuned to Performance Motorsports Network for more race talk. For the latest motorsports news, visit racechaseronline.com. Motorsports Madness is a copyrighted production of the Performance Motorsports Network, www.performancemotorsportsnetwork.com. A member of the Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated, and may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit written permission of PMN. Check out our Facebook page or our section of the PMN website. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host, co-hosts, and guests, and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either the Performance Motorsports Network or Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated, the advertisers, or the marketing partners. Be listening again next week when the madness returns on Monday night at 7 Eastern. Until then, keep it off the wall and keep the shiny side up.